I only started working at YCR in December of 2022. So if, like me, you are new to the movement, let me do a quick refresh of what we do. Young Canadian for Resources is made by and for young people across Canada. Our goal is to advocate for and participate in Canada's natural resource sectors. So because of my background in environmental studies, I have experienced firsthand how polarizing and heavy the discourse around natural resources has been, especially in the last few years. So bringing more nuance into those discussions and conversation is really what motivated me to join YCR in the first place. One of the great ways that YCR is bringing balance into conversations surrounding resource development is by putting equal importance on people, on planet, and on prosperity. We know resource production can have both positive and negative impacts, both on local communities, natural ecosystems, economic development. So making sure those three social, environmental, and financial issues are taken into account when it comes to resource development is really what makes it sustainable and what Canada is trying for. So if, like me, you really care about climate change, it is especially crucial to put equal value on people, planet, and prosperity. YCR not only believes in that, but promotes the intersection of those three aspects through social media, career development, and awareness campaigns. Our ultimate mission here at YCR is to make sure we, as students and as young professionals, we understand, we value, and we support resource development in Canada because of our world-leading metrics in terms of ethics and sustainable practice.
Being said, the aims of this program have always been pretty clear, or at least we've been very open about it. We want to create a network of students and young professionals from coast to coast who are passionate about Canada's resources. Like what we said in the last slide, we want to inspire young Canadians into participating in all of our natural resource sectors, whether you have a passion for the forestry industry in British Columbia or the nuclear industry in Ontario, or even the fisheries industries that are seen in Atlantic Canada. Regardless of where you're from or where your passion is held, YCR is built to highlight the great work that all of these industries in Canada do.
Thank you, Lyndon, for precisely elaborating our mission. Looking back on year 2022, we had quite the successful year, holding over 20 events across Canada and expanding our reach to most regions. Our social media reach has also grown tremendously, seeing engagements and supporter counts go up every week. We have enacted many unique campaigns to reach broader audiences across all the different regions which this nation encompasses. Campaigns like Resources in My Backyard, a campaign where members make content about the significance of resources in their respective areas, or a recent campaign that I've had the pleasure to be a part of, the Choose Canadian Energy campaign, which have all been successful in engaging broader reach across very different audiences. More and more, we are becoming a reference for young professionals and students seeking balanced and informed conversations on resource futures. Coming off of this huge year, we did all these amazing things. We also changed our name, as you may have noticed. I'll hand it over to Camilla and she can talk more about why we changed our name.
Thank you, Ryan. So some of you may know us since before last fall. If that's the case, then you might have noticed that we indeed changed our name. So we used to be known as SFC, Students for Canada. At the end of 2022, we changed it to YCR, Young Canadian for Resources. We changed our name because we realized that not all of our supporters identified as students anymore, that our audience is better suited to the young Canadian demographic of this country.
Other things that we did was the return of in-person events that we were finally able to start hosting for the first time since pre-pandemic. So since this program started in 2022, we haven't really had that opportunity to host a plethora of events in person and really try and foster more of that community aspect that we've talked about before. Where prior to these in-person events, we did host trivia nights like virtually and a few other kinds of events that were all on the computer and really just did our best to bring everyone together. And it actually, worked out. But coming out of this year, we were like, let's host some in-person events. And it turned out to be a lot bigger than what we had probably even internally initially expected. So throughout the year, we hosted events throughout Ontario, into Nova Scotia, and in Alberta as well. Each of these events were different than the others, while some may have been a simple food and beverage kind of event, some like the one in Ottawa, which Ryan will probably get more into later, but it involved having speakers and speeches and really joining students together and young professionals together to support some great causes. So in some of the other spaces that we did, we had some more recreational activities, like at the University of Waterloo, where we hosted trivia nights, pumpkin carving night with their members at that group, and as well as our usual brand of just a mixer. Now, they weren't the only kinds of events that we were hosting in Calgary. We came up with the speed networking events where young Canadians could meet and mingle with executives from different companies and with all these different kinds of backgrounds, whether that was lawyers, engineers, or key decision makers, or even just recruiters. We were able to bring young people face to face with professionals who could help them learn firsthand how best to conduct themselves in that kind of environment. So this event was incredibly important for us to maintain the career development and networking side of things. We love to give students opportunities to meet and give young professionals opportunities to grow their own career and advance and meet new people. Beyond that, though, we had another great event in the summer in our Dragon's Den, where we had 4 teams of students and young professionals come together and make up their own campaign ideas. Now, we put these students in a room with executives where they could pitch their ideas and highlight the reasons why they think these campaigns could work in Atlantic Canada, Ontario, Quebec, the territories. Really, you name the area. These campaigns were geared towards those interests.
Thank you, Lyndon. After witnessing earlier in 2022 the barbaric Russian invasion of Ukraine and the everlasting brutal and tragic effects it has induced on the Ukrainian population, which it still terrorizes today, as well as seeing our friends and allies across Europe and the entire world go under direct threat of energy insecurity, they began demanding and pleading for alternatives as dependencies on authoritarian and threatening energy suppliers like Russia was becoming increasingly a clear and present danger for energy security, global sustainability, and the protection of all vulnerable communities and vital resource supplies. As the conversation was once again at the forefront of mainstream media, I, along with 99 other students, launched our Choose Canadian Energy, Not War Oil campaign to raise vital questions in relation to our future as young people who care about environmental sustainability and energy security for our planet and the communities which encompass it. We stood as 100 students who were concerned by these recent events, which have put the entire security of energy supply across the globe in jeopardy, thus demanding a stronger voice, a voice of young people to demand once again the call to action for responsibly produced Canadian energy over war funding and human rights abusing oil and gas suppliers.
But beside campaigns, we will strive to expand our presence across the country by holding events in multiple provinces. You can notably expect in-person networking events and happenings in and outside of Calgary, but also throughout Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritimes as well. We will also continue to grow our reach on social media by doing what we do best, which is creating engaging, enjoyable, and informative content about Canada's natural resource sectors. YCR will keep making these food for thought, so make sure to tune in every week. And if you like or are interested in our content, there is many ways you can support us.
How can you get more involved with this program? Simply put, the best way to start showing support is to follow us on social media. You can find us at YC Resources on Instagram, LinkedIn, and what I did not mention in the slide is also on YouTube. So that's the easiest way for you to just show your support. But if you're more of a gung-ho individual who wants to show that next level support, or you want to stay more up to date with what we're doing in your area or campaigns that you can get more involved with right away, go to our website and subscribe to our newsletter at you can just put in Young Canadians for Resources.ca and it should come up. So that's one of the best ways. In that newsletter that you should subscribe to, you'll find job opportunities, resource-based news at that email address in the slides. So hello@ycresources.ca. Or if you want to write a blog about something that you're passionate about and feel like more Canadians or young people should know the importance of, or maybe the challenges that it's facing, you can send an email to that exact same one and you can write us a blog. Myself and everyone here presenting, and those who maybe aren't presenting right now but are part of this program, thank you so much for your continued support of this program.